Oh, we're gonna save and I gotta All right. Looks like I've had the wrong thing muted this whole time, making for a very boring stream. So it looks like you've heard me rummaging around the office the whole time, while I thought I had my desktop audio music playing, so that is a shame. Well, I guess it's not a return from a hiatus without screwing up at least part of my streaming equipment, or streaming setup. I guess I'll have to cut that out in the VOD, in the YouTube video. Hopefully I didn't do anything terrible while I was, thought I was muted. Anyway, it's been a while. I haven't streamed in probably 6 weeks or so. Figured I'd try coming back and just kind of putz around with a few random things. Was kind of debating whether I wanted to get back to it, but I do want to get back to it. I'm trying to publish more and share more and have office hours and things because I'm a natural hermit. And this streaming thing, if I can get myself back to doing it, it's kind of a natural thing for a hermit because I don't have to leave my office. In fact, right now I'm just talking to myself, so there's a few people in chat I see, but you're not here in the office with me, so this is kind of a great hermit thing. We'll probably see some cats come through. So there's at least some other life forms here with me. Anyway, what I'm hoping to do today, to get back into it, if my computer is cooperative, I've got to... Actually, you know what? I don't have on this scene. I should add my to-do list on this scene. Let's see about that. Yeah, let's add my to-do list on this scene so I can talk about it a little bit. And apologies in advance if this seems a little tedious. Kind of getting back into it, and I'm just going to putz around with things. It's not going to be a slick presentation whatsoever. Let's add my to-do list. There it is, it's up in the corner, and it's horribly formatted, which is another thing I should play with. Right now it's just a text file on my desktop that I play with. I don't know if you can hear it in the corner there, but I've got a main machine running on my desk that just jumped in with the Gauntlet theme. Anyway. A couple things I'm thinking of doing today. We actually just yesterday deployed Firefox Color, which is the thing I was working on all summer. Here, when I was switching my desktop. So this is what I've been working on all summer. Hey Smurfty, thanks for the welcome. I figure this might be good to show. This is what I worked on pretty much all summer. We revamped the user interface to Firefox Color quite a bit, and the main thing that I worked on is this custom backgrounds bit, which looked very different the last time I streamed it because it has had a pretty massive user interface overhaul since the last time I played with it. But yeah, so this is the little bit that I spent an enormous amount of time on. Probably more time than I needed to, but that was also bound up with getting the stream working. But just kind of a neat little feature here where you can like add backgrounds to a Firefox, to your Firefox theme. And that's live now. So this is actually, we've deployed it. It's at color.firefox.com if you want to go play with it. Customize your theme in Firefox. It's got some rough edges still, but we're working through it. But since this is deployed and this is the lion's share of the work is done on it now, I kind of didn't have an idea for my next thing to stream, which is in part why I've taken a break from streaming. And then the break became habit, and then I just didn't come back. So I'm back now, and what I want to play with now is a new project that I'm probably going to be working on in the next quarter, which is a system of components following the Mozilla Firefox Photon style. We're not very far into that project yet, but I started exploring Storybook as a way to fiddle around with components and styles, and we may or may not use that, but I think I might play with that a bit because one of the things I'd like to add, and actually I should maybe show a small demo of Storybook. So let's see, am I in that directory? Yeah, I'm in the right directory. So This may or may not be a good idea, again, on my laptop, because my laptop seems to like to stream or let me develop, but not both. So another thing I may do is switch over to... I've started playing with Amazon, with Cloud9 on Amazon. And it's a cloud-based editor, cloud-based IDE. Oh, this theme is annoying. It's a cloud-based IDE where all the good stuff runs on someone else's CPU, thus possibly freeing up my laptop for streaming a little more. So I'm going to try running this storybook thing on my local machine first and see how well it works. And if it does not agree with me, then I'm going to move it to Cloud9. While that's starting up, the other thing I kind of want to play with if I run out of stuff to do with Storybook, I've been exploring ActivityPub, which is the protocol that a lot of Mastodon and Fediverse and Pleroma, you know, all the alternative to Twitter, that network speaks a web protocol called ActivityPub. And I started playing around with teaching myself that by building a robot that insults you. So I may play around a bit with Insultron 2000, make it insult better, make it work better on ActivityPub. It does look like Storybook is starting up, but it's very slow. So here's what I'm going to do. While it's trying to do that, I'm going to see if I can clone my project onto my Cloud9 host and start it up there and see if I can make them race. And I'm very happy it's finally October, Spooktober, one of my favorite months of the year. It's also the start of the season of festive hats. You'll be seeing a lot of this hat. I have a few other hats. Can't wear my favorite hats in the summer. My head melts. Utsby insults on Mastodon. I thought I was an idol of pure human interaction over there. Yeah, but the bots are rude. The humans are nice, the bots are rude. And I'm hoping to contribute to that. Alright, well, it looks like my storybook finally started, but I don't trust it. So. One of these days, my streams will not start by me complaining about my computer, which will mean either I've gotten a better computer or I just stop making streams. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna start this project cloning over here in C9 and see if I can browse through the project on my local machine while it clones out here. So Cloud9 is nice. It's this little thing, gives you a full cloud IDE, gives you a little Linux machine to play with. I hope if I spelled clone right. So why don't you clone that? Or you can, like, not clone it, I guess. Actually, I'm wondering... Oh yeah, okay. So you can clone a Git repo with HTTP or SSH. I like to use SSH because it seems like the credentials work a little better. There you go. Please clone that. Whoa, that was fast. Okay, well, maybe maybe this is going to be a lot faster than I thought. I guess the one thing I might have to do is redirect the port, because I don't know that I have all the prerequisite ports open for this Cloud9 server. Like, they're not just like arbitrary ports. I'd have to tweak a security group or two. Yeah, this has been 21 minutes of pure garbage streaming so far. Welcome back. At some point I'll actually show you something. Oh, I see what's up. I'm using the wrong version of Node. Well, while that's building, this has actually built. Let me see how well it's going to perform. It's loading at least, so that's cool. So Storybook. Storybook is kind of cool. You get to build these stories, which are basically just canned markup or canned React code. And we can step through these different examples of a styled component. And the nice thing about that is you can compose all these scenarios where, like, if you're building a component library, they're almost, I've heard this described before as like visual unit tests. So you can compose all these different combinations and scenarios and permutations that your components are expected to work under, and you can code those and just flip through them. And so whenever you make a change, you can see how it affects all the different scenarios that your component's going to be used in. And that's ideal if you're building an inventory, a library of components. And the other thing that's nice about it, which hopefully I'll be able to show off in a second, is that you can do live edits. Like if you had like your editor and the browser side by side, you edit the CSS and it's a hot reload on the other side, or a hot module replacement, whatever the magical term is now. So you don't have to do any reloads. You just edit, save, look to the other one, look the other window and see it change. My machine is performing terribly, so I'm gonna try to free up some CPU and use Cloud9 like I've been saying. Oh yeah, it's going much faster. Although, I see. Let's do this real quick. Shouldn't it be ignoring a few things? Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm in the wrong branch. Let's fetch all the branches. Oh, I actually checked out the wrong remote. Let me add my branch to this. It is really terrible when your computer doesn't perform well enough to actually keep up with your typing. No, what? Oh, I gotta name it. I gotta name the remote. There we go. I really hate package lock JSON, by the way. I also think my music player needs some work because it's not flipping to the next song properly. And there it goes, installing things. Well, that was much faster. Cool. So our install, oh, I meant to say npm start. I'm like waiting for things to happen and I'm telling it to do the wrong things. There we go. That is much faster than running it on my local machine. Now the question will be if I can get to Storybook on this remote machine. Because of AWS security groups and all that. And I'm wondering, what is my... So there's this neat thing on Amazon EC2 machines. It's a little private intranet API, where if you hit up this URL, it'll tell you what the local domain of your machine is, or what the public domain of your machine is. Yeah, there we go. So if I go to that, in theory, I should be able to get to my thingy. So let's try that. Will it just work? If not, I might have to juggle some ports. I'm trying to remember, there's some settings for this stuff. The other thing I might be able to do... Can you do this? Let me see if I can do this real quick. I don't remember if Storybook respects a port. If I'm lucky, it does. Do-do-do-do-do. So where's my server? No, 9001. Okay, well, actually there's two things going on here. Gotta change the port. Yeah, this stuff gets really overly complicated, and I should have figured it out before I turned on the stream. Do we use Amazon infrastructure at work? Yeah, we use quite a bit of Amazon structure. And for the Amazon infrastructure, we used to have physical data centers, and we've kind of dwindled those away and use mostly Amazon for stuff. It sucks to be on a single provider sometimes, but they do kind of have a nice array of services. Ah, okay, so there are actually CLI options for this stuff. So let's try this. Looked up some docs real quick. I should probably do that on stream and not on the next door monitor. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking up Storybook options real quick. So rather than putzing around with security groups and stuff, I can just make Storybook serve itself up at an allowed host port combination. So let's try this. Help if I could type too. Maybe this will work. Oh, I see. I'm overriding the port there. All right, let's see if that works. I just noticed they seem to fall over to an Amazon solution for things quite naturally. Yeah, I've spent a bit of time lately digging into that stuff, and I've been kind of amazed at what all they offer these days. Like, until probably midsummer this year, I've heard of Cloud9 before, but I didn't realize Amazon had bought them. And Cloud9 is a neat solution because this is all hosted in the cloud. It runs on top of an EC2 machine. You've got terminals, you got file editors, you got everything you need all in a browser, which is, a blessing and a curse. But if you want a quick thing you can jump into that is not your local laptop, Cloud9 is pretty good. You can use this on like a Chromebook. I've seen people use it on an iPad. So yeah, Amazon's got a lot of neat stuff. For years I've used Amazon for other stuff. Like I've got my blog lives on S3. Most of my little web experiments live on S3. The other project in Celtron, if I get around to playing with it, that lives on Amazon Lambda explicitly as a learning experiment or learning exploration. I want to learn how to use the serverless stuff more. So yeah, I use a lot of Amazon stuff. I've got on my to-do list to move away from Amazon, though, to like force myself into some other providers, because I should really learn like who else is there? Like Google Cloud stuff. I should learn that. I should learn maybe some Rackspace. I should see who else is out there. But yeah, anyway. Ever used Lightsail? I have not used Lightsail. I vaguely have heard of it, but I've never used it. Oops, that is not what you said. Virtual server. Yeah, I've never used Lightsail. Actually, that's interesting. That sounds like a much cheaper, like EC2 thing. Because EC2 can get expensive just for little putterings. And sometimes you just need a tiny, tiny virtual machine. Ooh, $3 a month. Huh. Yeah, I never used Lightsail. I should play around with it. I've been using... But when I'm not doing Amazon stuff, I've got a little hobby server running at programmer.com. And I've had one with them probably for 8 years or so now. And that's like a no-frills little Ubuntu virtual machine. They're good people. I may end up shutting this box down at some point because it's kind of a beefy machine and I pay quite a bit per year for it, but they have excellent support in that every now and then they have to do maintenance, they have to take machines down. They credit my account like to the millisecond of unavailability. So if my machine's offline for like say 8 hours, 47 minutes and 2000 milliseconds or 2500 milliseconds, I get that much of my like annual charge refunded to me. So that's that's kind of gimmicky, I guess, but pretty awesome, very honest. But yeah, I should look into Lightsail. Because sometimes you don't need a huge box all the time. So my storybook loaded, my storybook built, my storybook loaded. I am running it on EC2. It's loading. Cool. What I want to look into... So storybook, this is storybook, storybook.js.org. Let's get rid of this for now. The nice thing about storybook is that... So you can build like React components. This isn't all that thick in the React weeds right now. In fact, my first component... Let me close some things because I've got another project open in here right now that I'm not working on. So for example, I'm mainly just playing around with this as a demo, and I'm trying to see if I can tinker with CSS. So right now, this is the only React component I'm playing with. It's dead simple. It's just a button. The fun part comes in when you can write these stories. And a story consists of one functional React component. It could be more than that, but it doesn't have to be. So, for example, this default story, here's default. I've got an anchor tag and a button as like examples for this CSS I'm playing with. And the story is just the little snippet of markup for this. And you can see, I can say stories of button, add, and I've got all these named stories. And what's nice is by adding all this sample markup, Storybook automatically builds a little sidebar nav menu of my stories. And so I code up all these examples of markup, and what's fun, let me see actually if I can do this, and I can show the real strength of the thing. Come on, Windows. You can do it. Yeah, so I've got these side by side. I can do things like, let's go to the default story. I can change things, save it, and it should, yeah, so I can make little changes over here, save it, and within seconds the changes show up over here. So I can play around with markup like that. I don't have to reload that page. I can play around with the CSS. So like I've got the CSS for this button component is over here. I can say, I don't know, let's say I want to make the, I want to clobber that background color. I'm going to make this background color purple. And within a few seconds, it's purple. So that's the nice thing about Storybook, is I could work like this and just kind of iteratively tinker with components. And yeah, I guess you can't see some of that very well because my to-do list is in the way. I'm going to shrink that. I'm going to move that to-do list maybe. Maybe shrink that to-do list. Go into studio mode on OBS if I'm going to tinker with things. Yeah, why don't I at least shrink that background a little bit? Maybe I'll move the whole thing down. And there we go, I'm just going to leave it there for now so you can see things. Anyway. As I was saying. So yeah, you can tinker with things. I'm going to change that color back. But what we're trying to do with this particular project, though, is not necessarily make React components. This is involving React as a tool, but what I think our goal with this project is going to be is to provide the CSS and markup patterns for a framework-agnostic set of components. So this Storybook and this React stuff is just a means to an end to like tinkering with that. I'm kind of running it by the team. We may or may not accept doing things this way, but I think it's kind of neat. So one of the things I wanted to add, since this is markup, and it is meant to be used that way, it'd be nice if we had some code samples. Like, for example, I would like this bit right here to appear as highlighted code in here as an example of how to use the CSS. So what I think I can do, so Storybook has an add-on system, and I want to write an add-on that takes the HTML source as rendered, extracts it as text, runs some code highlighting on it, and puts a code sample in this page beneath the components. So I think I'm going to play with that a little bit. Drag that back in there so I have more of a screen. So Storybook does have add-ons. So writing add-ons. Writing add-ons. Complete guide on how to write add-ons for Storybook. I haven't written an add-on before. I vaguely know how they work. We will write a story for our add-on like this. Stories are pretty easy to write. Oh yeah, one thing I can do, I can use an add-on right now, because, let me do that real quick. Another task I can do. One of the things you can do, so here's a problem, These are buttons, right? If I click the button, I break Storybook. I mean, I don't really break it, but the button is active. The button does a thing I don't want it to do. Because it's basically submitting a form, I think, because I'm not trapping the onClick event. But I can. So let me do that real quick. I'm gonna trap the on-click event. So what I can say is, actually, how do you use that? Action, yeah, okay. So here's how you trap the on-click event. I'm going to import this because I've got it set there as a to-do for myself. Simple, pretty simple. Also a syntax error, but pretty simple. And I'm going to do that for this other button too. And basically what this does, I'll show you in a second, this creates a stub event handler. And just kind of, I might have to reload that. Did I break something? I don't think it broke anything. This is not running. Is that my current window? Yeah, it's my current window. I don't have this running twice, do I? I don't. Okay, good. Alright, so let me reload this real quick. Because the thing I'm going to show is that down here there should be a log. Nope, it's still not working. I don't know why. What should be happening... Yeah, we're not using that right now. Wow, this song sounds out of tune. This is a terrible emulation. Alright. Did I save the file? I saved the file. All changes saved. Compiling. Compiled successfully. Am I running into an error by chance? Because what it should be doing is when I click this button, that's crap. When I click the button, it should intercept the on-click and just log it. But I'm probably doing something wrong. Alright, action, add-on actions. There should be a notes panel. Why are there no panels available? I'm missing something. This says no panels available, which is not correct. Or shouldn't be correct. I'm probably missing something in the configuration. Write your stories. Action on click. Is that what I called it? So I import this. Actually, I wonder if I do need to restart. I shouldn't have to restart Storybook because I edited a story. Unclick, action, clicked. Unclick, action, clicked. That should be correct. Am I in the right story? I'm in the right story. There should be an unclick handler there. Let me try something else real quick just to make sure I'm editing the right thing. The weird thing about having an IDE in your browser is when I hit Alt-Tab out of the browser. Is this my midlife crisis hat? No, this is my all months of the year that aren't summer hat. It's weird that I started streaming in the middle of summer because I usually wear hats. And hey, how's it going, Slayer Darth? Let's add another random class name to this just to make sure I'm doing something. But yes, as soon as the weather gets chilly, so begins the time of festive hats. So I'm editing the right thing. The hats keep me warm and they keep me amused, which is one way to stay sane as a home worker. Telecommuter. This is a good song, but let's get the next one. Alright. Maybe I do need to restart Storybook. I'm gonna restart Storybook real quick. See if that panel shows up. Glad to say one of your nightmare projects will be wrapped up tomorrow at work. Well, that's good. Nightmare projects are never good. I have had plenty. I feel your feels. Word++ Laravel site built by previous developer. Oh. Well, that's always fun because, of course, the previous developers made all the decisions you wouldn't have made. No panels available. This is troubling me. I'm wondering if I have to do something with the configuration to get this add-on working. They wrote a lot of their own helpers when Laravel provides a lot of what they wrote by default. Oh, that sucks. So it's like they're doing the obvious things, just in a slightly out-of-whack way. Does Mozilla hire directly to remote roles, or is a transition available? A little of both. It's been a while. Like, I've been working at Mozilla for a little over 10 years now. I hired in 10 years ago, so things are different now. When I hired in, I was in the Silicon Valley, South Bay area, but then I moved back to the Detroit area and took the job with me. I do think a lot of folks hire in directly remote. I think if you happen to live near one of the big cities where we have an office, I think the expectation is that you work out of the office. But, and I think we also have some positions that are specifically constrained to a locale, but I think those are rare. I think for the most part, we're remote by default, which has been very nice. In fact, not to make a plug, but I'll make a plug. If you're interested in Mozilla, just check out careers.mozilla.org. View our current openings. And we have a lot of locations listed. And I think some of these are specific to those areas, but most of them have this blob of locations. And I think the majority of them are remote. Some of them are restricted remote, because I think some of them, however the team works, they're restricted legally to certain areas. I don't know, I'm fuzzy on these details, but we have quite a lot of like remote possibilities. So yeah, so if any of these things sound interesting to you, feel free to apply and say I sent you. Which actually, there's a lot more openings since the last time I looked. But yeah, I've only worked for Mozilla from an office for 2 months. And the other 10 years minus 2 months has been from my home. That's been pretty nice. So, that's the end of that ad. But again, careers.mozilla.org if you're interested. I think it's a good place to work. Obviously, because I've been there for 10 years. I haven't wanted to leave. And they let me wear hats to meetings, so that's nice. So what am I doing? So I'm looking to try to see... I've used Storybook before. I've used this function of Storybook before. I'm trying to figure out how to get the actions to work. Actions... yeah, so how to use actions. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Is if you hook up this event listener to a button, you get a log message. So to install it, I have to... this is what I'm missing. This is what I'm missing. I have to register it. And since I'm working on a lot of open source stuff anyway, yeah, so that is a nice thing about Mozilla, and another reason why I've stayed at Mozilla is, for sure, everything I do, with only a few rare exceptions, has been open source. And I think the rare exceptions were things in the days when we were trying to build a telephone or trying to build a smartphone, and there were some like secret agreements with hardware providers because hardware providers don't let you work with their stuff unless you promise to be quiet. And we don't really do that so much anymore. So yeah, I'll say like probably 99.9% of what I work on from day to day is open source. Which is nice because before Mozilla I worked for ad agencies, I worked for Yahoo for a little bit, and everything was like hush-hush proprietary by default. Maybe if we're feeling magnanimous we'll open source something, but if you look at my GitHub, which is not a resume by the way, but if you look at my GitHub, you can see I work in the open. Everything I do is on this calendar. And if you feel like following along with what I'm doing, you can pretty much spy on my entire day at work for what shows up in here, other than meetings, say. So yeah, it's very nice. And I can stream like this, and I'm actually... part of the reason I'm streaming, and I want to get better at this, because I'm crap at it right now, is I am a senior engineer who really should be sharing more. I should be mentoring more. And the streaming, and I'm a natural hermit, so that's kind of at odds. So hopefully by bumbling around with streaming, I can talk to people more and share stuff I do, which all kind of like dovetails together nicely. Open source, sharing. It's all a nice kumbaya campfire story thing. Let's add this. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, so you configure Storybook in this Storybook folder, and I'm going to add a new file and call it add-ons. JS if I can type. Thank you, fingers. Intro to add-ons. That's not what I'm looking at. Okay, Storybook add-ons, register, yes, okay. So I need to add this line to this file, I presume. And I actually do use... I use Storybook on this other project. Let me look at it real quick. I'm trying to remember what I put in this project. Yep. There's my add-ons. I should import some of those too. Okay, yeah, I think I'm on the right track. So, I think I may need to restart Storybook to pick up that change. Yes? Yes, I think so. So let's restart Storybook and maybe my add-on will start working. There are some neat add-ons to Storybook also. There's this thing that you can like create kind of stub action handlers for buttons and whatnot. There's a thing called knobs, where you can make all your canned stories, but you can also make some stories with little controls, so you can like tinker around with it live. And a lot of this is aimed at designers, so like I as a developer can throw together all this live example stuff, and one of our designers who might be stronger with visual design than hacking React can play with the visual design part. Because, of course, I'm crap at visual design, so, you know, it's nice to be able to fit together with your teammates like that. Restarted. Let's reload. And let's go to our next song. I need to poke at this. I've got a new build of the music player, and it seems not to be progressing through songs like I'd like. There we go. There's the action logger. There we go. This is what I wanted. Wait, that's not what I wanted. So wait, what's going on here? I click on this button. That's not what I wanted to have happen. I need to prevent default. Which I thought this thing did. Do you do a prevent default? Action button click. I thought this thing had a prevent default. How did I do over here? So I have used Storybook on another project, and I'm wondering, how did I prevent buttons and links from going elsewhere? Because I know I did it. I guess I didn't do anything special. I guess the thing is it's a... Is it because it's an anchor? What does the button itself do? What do you do, button? The button does nothing. Okay. It's just because this is an anchor. Okay, well... How about this? Is this what we need to do? This seems unnecessary, but let's see. I type very fast and very quickly type the wrong things. This seems dumb, but let's see if it works. Button, 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 button. Anchor? Nope, you broke. Maybe it's still building. So, it's still compiling. Yeah. Gosh, next song, please. I want to hear that right now. Let's go for this. This one's good. All right. You shouldn't ever really have to reload Storybook. I'm kind of doing it superstitiously right now. Oh, I typed prevent default? Thank you. And so I did. Thank you. So here's a benefit of streaming. Yeah, I typed the wrong thing. Which is ironic because I was just saying how I type very fast and type the wrong things, and I typed the wrong thing and didn't notice. I'm apparently half paying attention also, Slayer Dearth. And I'm the one at the keyboard, so... There we go! Yeah, so this is finally what I was saying is neat about this. I think it goes a little something like that. You're working on a test project in Laravel for a friend. Maybe able to hook up with some freelance work. That's cool. Just kind of getting a gauge of where you're at. You can afford cats. We have cats and rabbits. We have rabbits downstairs. We're living the high life without living on a farm. Alright, so this was kind of a warm-up slash demo of Storybook for y'all. And the gist is, you can lay out all these components. You can get demos of them. You can flip through the demos. You can play with them. Oh yeah, and I know the other thing I wanted to do was add these event listeners. This seems dumb. This doesn't seem like it should be right. So how about I do this? I'm going to abstract this real quick. There's nothing like what I wanted to type. Event default, action, message, EV. This is a hack. I don't like this hack. But we're going to live with it for now. Are free in Detroit. No. There are some very nice houses in Detroit. I live in one. They're cheaper than the Bay Area. They're cheaper than the Bay Area. The myth of the $1 house is mostly false. You can get a house for super cheap, but the deal is you'll want to demolish that house and build a new one. And pay the full value of the old house or your new house you're going to build in property taxes. They're free for squatters, yeah. That's a thing that's happening less and less in Detroit, though, I think. I live in a really nice neighborhood. It's been in great shape since the 20s. People have kept these houses pretty much full occupancy since then. A very scrappy neighborhood with a very strong neighborhood watch and very strong community. And there's a lot of neighborhoods here like that. It's funny because like the news likes to cover the sensational things, so you hear all the bad stuff. But come live in Detroit; it's nice. Sure, what's a fun fact about housing in the UK? Let me see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put this on all the anchor tags real quick. Houses that are owned by housing tenancy associations can never be sold. Oh, huh. So is it like a rent control kind of thing? Yeah, they're supposed to remain affordable. Well, I'm sure there's plenty of arguments against that. I feel like we could use a little bit of that here. It's nice to have a place to live, though. I say that in full understatement of the problem of homelessness. This is just copy pasta at this point. You know, I can just use this same thing for all of these, even though it's a hack. I should figure out the right way to do this. Am I breaking anything? We only have a few more. Next song. So yeah, I'm just sprinkling in some event handlers here so that these components do the proper thing. It's all a bunch of copy pasta, and really, I should look into... There's probably a way to, like, do event delegation for this. Yeah, actually, crud. Crud. I could probably just put this on the div at the top. Yeah, I'm going to experiment with that for this last story, rather than undoing everything I just did, because I could probably do this. Right? Let's see. Do some event delegation. Disabled. That seems to have worked. Actually, yeah, maybe we can do that instead. I'm going to undo my copy pasta, maybe. I wonder if that will actually swallow the anchor tag link, the anchor tag click, though. Because I hate to just copy paste this all over when I could do it in a higher level abstract way. I have to keep my code dry. So this is the disabled story. Yeah? No, this is the puffy story, right? Disabled. Puffy. Yeah, okay. Hey, Puffy. Alright. Yeah, I should have done about delegation to begin with. Or, just let it bubble up. Crappity crap. Okay. I've done this before, and I learned that lesson before, and I forgot that lesson because it's been about 6 months since I last used Storybook. And it's really good to not have to repeat yourself. But that's okay. Deleting code is cheap. And this isn't even the main thing I want to do today, so... Okay. I've been streaming for an hour or so, but the first half hour is me just kind of clearing my throat and getting the rust out of the pipes and all that. Okay. Does this all work? This all works. Okay, cool. So this is what where I wanted to get at as a warm-up. These are all my stories. I've got my click handlers. Cool. So I've used an add-on. Now I want to see about writing an add-on. No. All right. And in fact, one of the things that's nice about I can abstract this further too, because one of the things that Storybook lets you do is decorators. So if I wanted to, because I'm repeating this class name sample all over the place, so this line is repeated from story to story, I can abstract that out as a component, as like a decorator, which I may do at some point if I get itchy enough. This is where did they name those? They actually name them somewhere in here. That might itself be an add-on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I could actually have done this, which is to have created a functional component that encapsulates all this repetition with the onClick. So I might do that, but I'm not going to do it right now because it's not the thing that I'm trying to do. Alright, writing add-ons. This is back to what I wanted to play with. With an add-on, you can add more functionality. Storybook, you can add a panel, interact with the story, set and get URL params, select the story, register keyboard shortcuts coming soon. That's not what I want to do. What I want to do is right about here, add a syntax highlighted code sample of the markup it took to create these buttons. Because the React component is not the thing here. What I want is a little bit to show this. What am I moving? No, I didn't want to do that. I'm trying to highlight. Like, I basically want this little chunk here to get yanked out of the DOM and stuck in as like a code sample. So that, like, this storybook is also kind of documenting the markup we use for this CSS. So, I think it's fully possible. How do I write an add-on? Okay. I could probably be reading out loud, but I'm not used to doing that. I'm just kind of skimming through this. Oh, I see what it's doing. Okay, how about we do this? I don't want to do it the way they're doing it. I want to do it like this. My typos are comical today. Can I do that? Yes, please move that there. Now, I don't know. Did I just break something? I may have, because I don't know if it literally needs addons.js or if it's loading the add-ons module. Let's see if it works. Because I'd like to store my project-specific add-ons in that storybook configuration directory over... One of these days I'll figure out how to point on stream. Okay, it looks like it worked. Let me see if it still works. What a new song. Looks like it worked. Cool. Okay, so create a new folder. Let's call it, let's call it code sample. Now, according to, let's clear out a few tabs here. According to writing add-ons, I need to write 2 new files. The add-on, let's create 2 new files, register.js and index.js. They're calling theirs notes add-on, I'm calling mine something different. So, new file, index.js, new file, register.js. What goes in register.js? Well... Okay, I see. I'm just going to follow their example at first and then modify it, I guess. So they're going to say with notes. So I'm going to copy pasta their thing. Looks like the index... No, this is register. This is supposed to go in index. So, okay, so this exports a component. What goes in register? Add the following code to register. Okay, well, this is a lot of crap, but okay. And this is kind of a bad way to follow examples sometimes, because, like, you don't remember it very well if you're just copy-pasting. You always assume dot folders are primarily don't touch generated stuff. I've seen that, but I've also seen... I mean, dot is just a convention for hide this. And so... Actually, you can see on this project... Actually, I am working in the wrong directory. I'm working in my testpilot directory. Let's move this. No. Can I cut? Yeah. But yeah, so like in this project, we've got a lot of dot files. Like we've got, that's where a lot of the like hidden config stuff goes, like editor config, eslint, git ignore, prettier, style lint. It's where a lot of the like paperwork goes. But yeah, and we use, I think, dot folders to stash build artifacts and stuff too. Let me go in the right folder here. So I may well have broken something and not realized it because I was editing the wrong file. But I do often have a maverick approach, I guess. Half the time unintentionally because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, so I do the wrong thing and I just pretend I know what I'm doing. Which is how everyone works anyways, because we're just all making this shit up. Wouldn't need editor config if people had fixed their bloody editor ID settings. True. True. Also, people disagree. And when they disagree with me, they're wrong about editor settings. Tabs versus spaces, all that. Some folks really love the thing that I don't love, which I guess is okay. The nice thing about an editor config is at least it's per project. So if you're new to a project and you yourself personally prefer something different than what the project asserts, the project can assert itself over you. Which that can be a little annoying, but I've come to take a stance of when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So if I join a project and they're using tabs, I guess I'll use tabs. Yeah, I love this song. It's on my favorites list, isn't it? Yeah, it's on my favorites list. This is your battle theme? My battle theme is Zoids by Rob Hubbard. Possibly Chimera. Or actually, one man and his droid. That might be more my battle theme. Zoids are one man and his droid. I go back and forth. Okay, where was I? Okay, this is what I'm doing. You need to show me something. Okay. I don't know that I have seen the Guitar Hero clone for Commodore 64. I may need to see this. I thought there was like a... I might have seen like a DDR clone for Commodore 64, but that's different. Yeah, let me take a look at this. Which is good timing because the music just, the song just ended. Let me pause it real quick. I'm gonna have to take a look at this, take a break and take a look at this. Shred 64. I have not heard of this. Ah, get bigger. And biggin.
Hello, my name is Tony Westbrook, founder of Synthetic Dreams, and I'm here to
biggin damn you.
A project called Shred 64. Now, what Shred 64 is actually...
My computer is so terrible right now.
Commodore 64. You might remember the Commodore 64 is the best-selling computer of all time.
Probably not going to watch the whole thing, but
really great machine. And I was thinking, you know, wouldn't
let's do this.
If we could have this old machine, one of my favorite machines, one of my favorite games, all combined together. So I'm going to demo that for you here today. Now, a lot of you know about Guitar Hero. It's a popular game. Basically, play along to your favorite songs on a little plastic guitar controller. The theory is the same with Shred 64. The only difference is obviously since the Commodore 64 is a little older machine.
Get to some gameplay. Does it actually use a Guitar Hero controller?
Shred 64 uses a normal PlayStation guitar.
Oh, nice.
So I made what's called the PSX64 interface, and I'll show that to you right now. We're having a finished
a little hardware widget there.
PlayStation controller. In this case, I'm using guitar. Here's the loading screen, by the way. We'll just kind of zoom out while this is loading. Allows you to connect any PlayStation controller up to
get to 410. All right.
Amiga or a Sega Master System or your Atari 2600. This adapter basically allows you to PlayStation controller dual
drop down to normal speed. I watch so many videos on YouTube at 2x speed. It's bizarre because then I'll watch them at normal speed and will feel like the person is just incredibly boring and ponderous.
And as you can see, there's going to be an applause meter, just like normal Guitar Hero. There's what's called the Shredosity meter, which is kind of akin to star power. This will detect when you lift your guitar up and go into what's called shred mode.
I have Guitar Hero. Zelda Guitar Hero on Commodore 64. This is wrong. I'm gonna have to get this to work because
as you can see, my applause meter is going up and hitting notes, and every time I hit a purple note, it increases my shredosity meter.
This is pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to see if I can get this to work. I don't have a second camera, but to my right, there is a Commodore 64. And an Amiga and an Atari. This is pretty awesome. Yeah, thanks for sending me this. I'm gonna have to, you know what? I am gonna add this to my wheel of side projects. A lowly pleb who knows only of the C64 through Vice Simulator. Well, the C64 was my first computer. There we go. Let's add this to my my wheel of side projects, which is a thing I've been meaning to use on this stream to pick side projects for myself. I've only done it a few times now.
And as you can see, I got a high score there. It does keep track of scores, does save them on disk.
That's pretty awesome.
Just with the guitar, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. Whatever,
Learning all about these cool things like SID files. Yeah, have you heard of the high velocity SID collection?
Zero if I hadn't, out and play the song again or go to a different song.
Because
and this time,
HSVC is amazing.
It takes advantage of the true capabilities of the SID sound chip. This is called
not HSBC, HSVC.
Hope I'm pronouncing that one right too. Really cool song.
Alright, so I saved that in my Whoa. Well, you need to look at HSVC. Because HSVC is a collection of
But once the game is up,
almost all known Commodore 64 SID files. There we go. HVSC. That's what I'm looking for. HVSC. I believe HVSC is one of the sources for this chip machine player that I use on the stream. Which is not my project, but I've got my phone fork of it. Chip machine's awesome. It has a few different chip machine or chip tune emulation engines in it, and it pulls music files directly off the web, and I believe HVSC is one of its sources. There's also, if you're interested in Amiga stuff, there's Modland, which I think is another source that Chiptune uses, or Chip Machine uses. Let's see, back to the video while those things are loading. I'm impatient. I'm making my computer do too much. This is pretty cool, though. I'm gonna have to see if I can get this to work, because I do have a PlayStation 1 Guitar Hero controller in the basement. And I could probably put together the hardware to make this work.
Again, when the nose is blinking, that means I'm in shred.
And if you haven't seen my Wheel of Side projects before, or that's another thing I'm poking around with. This is it. I've got a list of text. I've got a text file listing things that I should probably be working on. And I can click and spin the wheel and get a side project to work on. Only a few times, like there's been a few times when I've used this to like help me decide what to work on next. And it's nice because it's on Glitch, which is a neat little tinkering space. This is not it. What? Oh, I see. What am I looking for? It's not Modland, then. One of these things. I'm trying to remember. The nice thing about... Actually, I don't need to open a new tab. Chip Machine has sources in it. You're thinking of making an account of 64 karaoke machine. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know exactly how that would work. Like if you're well, you know what's weird? If I remember right, the SID chip has an audio input pin to mix in with the C64 output. I could be wrong about that, but I seem to remember there was a way to like mix external audio in.
Your own SID files and record notes for them. But the ones that are, and here's where you edit the notes if you were to upload your own SID. But included with the song, we've got the Axel Foley theme remix. We've got one from
Data.
Ghostbusters theme.
No, that's not right. Or is this right? I don't know.
The Stairway to Heaven intro. One from Supremacy. Zach McCracken remix. One of my favorite games. And the Zelda Overworld.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play. I'm gonna have to play this thing.
Download Shred 6.
Sort of. Oh no, I'm looking for Lua.
Or PAL for your.
I'm totally in the weeds now. I'm gonna get back to my project in just a second. Yeah, here it is. So if you look at Chip Machine, one of the data files lists all the music sources that Chip Machine draws from. So if you're interested in chip music and chip tunes and things like that, you can come here and there's a bunch of links to music sources. Commodore 64, Atari, 8-bit, Atari ST, Nintendo, Sega. You can find a bunch of sources of music in like the data files for Chip Machine.
Back again today. I'm actually filming this on a nice sunny afternoon. I thought I'd film myself.
All right. Think back to my project. Hello, Danwood. We're not watching you right now.
I'm going to continue a little mini series that I've been doing.
He's a cool guy. If you listen to podcasts and you like retro stuff, you should listen to the Retro Hour, which this guy co-hosts. All right, let's pop the stack. Get back from the diversion, back into what I was trying to get into. But thank you for the diversion. Shred 64 looks very awesome. So I was building an add-on, and I'm starting with this example. And this is, okay, so I need to register the add-on. Yeah, I've been meaning to do a stream at a different hour, because this is still like my work day. So I try to just do work stuff during the workday. But I need to start other tinkering streams where I play with things like Shred64 or whatnot. I've got a small streaming setup in my basement that I've only used 3 times. And that's where my electronics workbench is. I should use that again. What am I calling this? I'm calling this code sample. Yeah, I think my first stream, and it has already disappeared from Twitch, was me soldering up some LED strips that I'm now using under my desk. Get back into that. I had a neat setup down there too, because it's got I got a camera on me, I've got a camera pointed down at the workbench, and then I've got a third camera that's on the end of a flexible wire, so I can actually like go in close to like electronics work and stuff and zoom in. I should play with that some more. I've also got some arcade machines I like to repair. All right, code sample register. Is this going to work? I just need more cameras that point at different things in my office, I guess. I think I might need to restart this since I just registered a new add-on. Oh yeah, and the music stopped. Let's restart the music. Oh, I've been streaming for about an hour and a half. I think I got about another half hour scheduled for this. We'll see where I get. Am I on Discord? I am on Discord. I haven't started my own server. I might start my own server if I keep this up. I find it weird that everyone has their own server. Like every streamer has their own server. I'm used to the IRC model where you join the network and you join a channel. You don't make your own cluster of whatever. Starting to go through the C64 user guides and programmers guide. Hit me up if you need any help. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can hit me up on there. Trying to remember what my username and whatever is on Discord. I haven't stuck to Discord yet. Like it's not sticky for me. I should probably hang out there more. I am LM Orchard on Discord. I'm trying to remember, doesn't Discord have a weird thing where there's a number after your name too? It's okay. I'm on yeah, I'm LM Orchard on IRC too. I'm on a bunch of networks there. Whichever works. Like what IRCs, what networks am I on right now? I've actually been kind of neglecting IRC lately, so I guess that doesn't help. Yeah, I've got IRC open in like a web interface right now. Yeah, I think I'm on Freenode also. I might be disconnected from Freenode right now. Let me see. Yeah, I'm in Freenode. Hanging out in like the Node channel. I'm in a bunch of channels on Freenode. Yeah, I'm LM Orchard on Freenode also. If you message me and I don't answer right away, it's probably because I've forgotten to reconnect to my bouncer. I'm starting to convince myself why people use Discord. there's also Slack, which is... There is a Mozilla IRC network that we used to do pretty much all our chatting and work in, and then folks started gradually moving over to Slack, and now almost everyone's on Slack, and I kind of hate it just because it's so exclusive. But it's more convenient, which, you know, that's how these things go. Alright. Oh yeah, so I just run it on, I restarted the thingy. What is it doing? Was it doing anything? I'm gonna reload it. But yeah, so I'm LM Orchard pretty much everywhere you might try to find me. I have a Discord server now that I realize, but I'm the only one on it, and I probably want to tinker with it if I were to invite people to it on the stream. Maybe I'll add that to my to-do list to tinker with. To my ever-expanding wheel of side projects. It's kind of fun. I've been using this thing as a to-do list, sort of, to catch all the ideas I'm thinking of. I'll do that. I've got a lot of ideas and not enough focus. Okay. No panels available. I must have broken something when I created that add-on. Oh, you know what I did? No, I don't know what I did. Are we sure that this isn't working? I wonder... if this needs to be... I wonder if Storybook is specifically looking for add-ons.js and not the module add-ons. You wish you were born in the days when you had to feed tape to play a game. I don't know if you do. I don't know if you do. Do you yearn for waiting 20 minutes or more before you can play your game? Because I'll tell you, it taught some patience though, I guess. I mean, I guess kids these days get to live with DLC and day one game updates. Oh yeah. When I first got my Commodore 64, I did not have a tape drive and I did not have a disk drive. I just had the Commodore 64. And so I'd type in basic programs and I'd leave the computer on and my mom would come into my bedroom and turn it off when I went to bed. And it took 3 times of that and me throwing a tantrum before she stopped turning my computer off. And then I got a tape drive. And then I could save my programs. And then I got a disk drive and I could save my programs even more. But it's a weird time to have computers with no way to save things. Ah, there we go. The add-ons are working now. Oh, and there's nothing like when you have programs on tape. And also, all your music is on tape. And you mix the two up. Installing MS Office with 20 disks just to figure out disk 19 had errors. Yeah. I did that with Linux at one point. I think I had a copy of Slackware Linux back in like 96 or so, and it was like 20 disks. Something like that. That was terrible. Your first computer is a TI 994A. We had those in the States. I'm trying to remember, weren't those kind of rare in the UK? Because I seem to remember the UK was all about the like BBC Micros and the Speckies and the C64s. I had two friends that had TI 994As. I was mainly an Atari 8-bit and C64 kid. I see what this does. Okay, so continuing with my tutorial here. This allows me to do a thing like... It's weird, I have no nostalgia for like the Spectrum and the BBC Micro, but I feel like I should get those machines and play with them just to like experience what the what other kids had for their childhood. Notes. Okay, so this is an add-on. This is fun. Sometime I've got a bunch of old 8-bit computer magazines, and there are times when I'm tempted to pull one down and start typing in a program. A lot of them were basic, but a lot of them were machine language, which that was fun. Actually, 1 second. I wondered if I have a machine code listing magazine behind me. You were born in 94. Yeah, I feel like around 94 is when computers got really commoditized. When you had like the boring beige PCs and you didn't have all the exciting weird form factors and cases and crap. And everything started like focusing down on like, you know, the Intel CPUs versus the Motorola CPUs used by Mac. And Mac was rare. So yeah, I feel like most of that was all Intel PC stuff. And kids didn't have to deal with writing machine or assembly code. I will say that was a fun thing to learn. I learned 6510 assembly when I was like 8. And that sounds like a brag, but it was just, that was a thing to learn. And the other thing that was kind of, I don't know, the Spectrums have like rubber chiclet keyboards. I know we had the Timex Sinclair when it came to the US, and it was a membrane keyboard that was just awful. And when you tried to type on it, it vibrated the whole machine, and if you happen to have a RAM expansion cartridge on it, it would lose connection with the peripheral and crash the whole thing, thus losing whatever you'd been working on. Getting some queries from work that I'm going to answer real quick. Alright. What am I doing? ZX81's RAM expansion was the one that disconnected. Yeah. Yeah, and I only know of that hardware by reputation because I came within like a hair sliver of getting a Timex Sinclair in the US instead of a Commodore 64, and I think things would have been a lot different. And I know the Timex Sinclair is like a different cousin machine, very similar, but I think different for our market, odd ways. Yeah, I had Atari 8-bits at school, C64 at home, and then later Apple 8-bits at school. I just did this thing, which should have changed a thing, which is broken. Which is fine, because I can fix that. What is this? This is a component. There we go. I think that's where my add-on lives right now. No, but it's not named that. It's named Code Sample. Okay, I think it's building now. There we go, so my add-on from the tutorial is working. This gives me a little bit of information on how I can do it myself. I wonder if this is a good spot for a code sample. I might put the code sample down there rather than like in the example view. Oh. This is a really good music pack. This is actually on YouTube. This was a single disc synth sampler. It had a lot of cool songs on it. New project idea for Wheel, teach my cats to make pull requests. I wonder, as a stupid pet trick, what of their existing behaviors could I translate into pull requests on a code repo? Like, can they submit a pull request for me to feed them? I mean, heck, this is me making pull requests some days. Depends on how close to the end of a launch date it is. I wonder if I could turn the cats into Internet of Things peripherals, and they can submit pull requests to me. This is a terrible idea. I swore to myself I'd never experiment on animals. That sounded more sinister than I meant it to. They're probably real cats. There's probably someone stupid under them making them do things. Alright, so I've gotten this add-on working. This song is funny because this is apparently a cover of an 80s song, but I only just heard the original 80s song this past August because I found it on Chip Machine and found a little metadata saying it's Saturdays in Malaysia. And the only version I ever knew of this song until then was this from the Commodore 64. There's a few songs like that that I didn't realize were actual pop songs because I'd only ever heard the Commodore 64 covers of them. And then finally one day found the real song and I was like, holy crap, this is a real song and not just a little chip song from 1987. Life is weird. Okay, so code sample register. This is how I register it. This is where I put my components. What is registered is a React component. I'm not going to finish this add-on today. I'm too distracted, but that's fine. At least half of what I wanted to do today was to fire up the stream again and get semi-distracted and wear my hat. What's the next one? Oh, you know what? I might have to play this next song. This is actually one of my 8-bit battle themes. I think a lot of the people who make those cat gifs just have very tolerant cats. That's the only way I think it could work. Reminds you of friends hearing Magnetic Field and saying, oh, it's the bomb jack music. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, because a good chunk of my pre-teen and teen music listening was Commodore 64 and Amiga mods. Still to this day, like one of my favorite Commodore 64 songs in general is a version of the Back to the Future theme before I ever saw Back to the Future. So I guess what I want to try to do here is render my component source there. I wonder if I can tweak this component easily to do that. It looks like what this thing does. This is a React component that shows up here. And the other part is a wrapper component that communicates with that component. Kind of weird. Kind of neat. Kind of weird. Kind of neat. I'm not going to package my add-on or package my... I'm not going to package it right now. But okay. Yeah, so there's the preview area, there's the manager app, there's a communication channel between the two. So I can use a component in the preview area that passes messages to the manager app. Part of the plugin, or part of the add-on is this component, part of the add-on is the component in here that communicates. Makes sense. So what I'm going to do... Maybe I can get... Yeah, okay. I can look at the children of... So I've got this with notes. I've got the children of with notes. What I want to do... I might actually be able to do this pretty quick. Let's see. Instead of passing notes, what I would like to do is do a text static rendering of my children using React DOM server, because this will give me render to string. Okay, I can customize this pretty quick. We'll see. We'll see. If this bombs on me, I know things are dumb. Yeah, so what I want to pass is not the notes, but the HTML. Let's see if this simple tweak does it. Is that a blatant error? And it's not a blatant error. Ah, but that's not what I wanted to have happen. Close, but not what I wanted to have happen. I believe this is doing a dangerous, whatever the heck. Yeah, dangerously set inner HTML, which is not what I want. Not what I want. At least not right now. How about we do this? Well, this is a pretty simple tweak if this works. If this works. If I didn't break anything, which I may well have. Did I break anything? No, it's still compiling. Compiled. Okay. Here's some noises outside. Yeah, I broke something. I broke something. What did I break? Apparently nothing. I broke nothing. That makes no sense, though. Something is not working right. Let's see. Well, maybe I need to reload. I need to reload because it's an add-on. You don't need to reload for general components, but I imagine you may need to reload for your add-ons. Ah, there we go. This is what I wanted. Okay, so it's not exactly right. I'm going to probably have to sanitize some of this garbage out of the... crap. That worked. That did not work. I have to find out why that's not entirely working. But this is the gist. I want to get the markup for this down here. That's closer. I'm just wondering why it's not working for other stories. What else you got? Okay. I feel like I'm getting closer. I don't know why the notes aren't rendering here. I can figure that out. I thought it'd be a quick tweak. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Maybe I'll add some console logging in here to figure out what the heck. Yeah, I don't need this second shell right now, it's just confusing me. So I've been streaming for about 2 hours. This is the end of the time I had budgeted, but I'm still I'm making some progress, so I'm gonna go a little bit longer. So it is after 5 p.m. here, which is pretty much about the time the missus gets home, which is usually the natural end for my afternoon stream. She might be home a little late tonight, so I'm going to keep going for a little bit longer. The other natural end to my stream is when the cats wander in, because then the cats start knocking things over, and they know how to unplug my computer from the internet, so they will sometimes do that when it's time to eat. So that might also be another end to the stream. But I'm going to keep hacking here, because I think I'm close to something. And that thing being, I'm creating an add-on for Storybook to display code samples of my stories. I wonder what else is taking up my CPU. My CPU is pretty pegged right now. You can see the little blue square there. Should not be entirely blue. OBS is chewing up quite a lot. Now, I don't know why I don't know what's happening here. Why? Apparently, is my... Oh, no! I only put... I'm wondering why my new add-on thing is not working for all my other stories. It's because I didn't hook it up to my other stories. I only used it on that one story. This is stupid. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to rename this component real quick. It's not going to be with notes, it's going to be... I'm going to call it extract source. And I'm going to call it that over here too. Excuse me. And what I need to do here, I think... Now this is where I'm getting close to possibly doing something else. Extractive. I'm going to make a little wrapper component here, and this component is going to have extract source. With some props. It's gonna have this. I'm gonna see if I can use this throughout the rest of my stories as a decorator, as a kind of wrapper. So I can say sample, delete that, delete that. There's that. So that is going to dry up on my markup a little bit. And this song is not progressing to the next song, thank you. Starting to get bright in here. Sun setting, and I'm being blinded from the glare from outside. That's another natural end to the stream. I'm trying to remember what podcast I used to listen to. There was a podcast I used to listen to that used this song as its theme. I'm gonna have to Google that at some point. Alright. Did I break it? Did I break it? I unbroke it. You know, I'm gonna do this real quick. I have nice blinds in my office, I can use them. Okay. Let's see if that little encapsulate or that little abstracted component does what I think it does, and it does indeed do what I think it does. Cool. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Vice confuses you. Why does it confuse you? I mean, it's a confusing thing, but... its binary is named X64. Oh, you know what I need to check? Does that still intercept button clicks? It does. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. No, that is not what I wanted to delete. I should find a regexy way to do this. Actually, no, that's going to be a disaster. The fun thing about being a programmer sometimes is I spend inordinate amounts of time trying to be lazy. I spend inordinate amounts of energy trying to avoid work. Like, for instance, what I'm doing right now with the manual copy-paste, I was just trying to think, can I script this? It's totally doable. It's totally doable. It's just that by the time I figure out what the regex is, I will have been done with the manual work. So there, you know, there's a fine line there then. There's, if I'm going to do this 10 times, maybe I don't figure out a regex. If I'm going to do it 100 times, I'm going to figure out a regex. But not this time. This time, I just did it the manual way. And I'm done already. Unless I broke everything, in which case, whatever. It does not appear that I broke things, though. So, this is what I'm after, is when I click on these, I want the code samples to show up. Then I don't need to do this logging anymore. More work stuff? Yeah, okay. Actually, I think I might be 90% of the way to doing what I set out to do. Oh, I know what I was doing. I was jumping in there to remove that log statement. Because I don't care about that log statement. Yeah, let's just get that out of there. I don't need that log statement right now. So, really... Yeah, so actually, in one sense, I can say that I have accomplished building a code sample add-on for Storybook. I've done that. It's a terrible code sample add-on. But it is a code sample add-on. It's awful, but it is, in some sense, what I set out to do. So I guess from here, it's polish. I want to take this markup and format it better and do some syntax highlighting. My music is forking up again. All right. So I guess what do we want to do for the formatting here? So I'm not working entirely in a vacuum. And sorry, I keep fuging off. I keep fuging off and not talking because I'm also chatting in another window with work folks about a different project. You know, stuff comes up. Yeah, I'm not working in a vacuum here. There's a previous demo here that did not use Storybook, and it had some code that did some syntax highlighting. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. Is there such thing as an HTML pretty print? Typo, typo, typo. HTML formatter, I can't type. HPM is not at all what I'm looking for. This is super lazy coding, which is that I just want to make the glue between things other people have done. For a quick and dirty thing. Here, I'm fuging off again. Sorry, folks. Alright, back to this. How do I pretty print HTML? Some of these are ancient projects too. Like, how old is this? 6 months ago? It's not too bad. Make the download 6. 100,000 downloads of this one. What is JS Beautify? Maybe this? Yeah. I've been streaming for 2 hours and almost 20 minutes. I think I'm gonna call it in about 10 minutes. I have actually technically finished the first of my 2 goals today. I've got to leave myself something to do next time, and I am... Oh, I thought maybe I was dropping frame rate. That was actually my CPU. My CPU was up to 30% consumed by OBS and dropped, and I thought that was a frame rate drop. Anyway, let me try this real quick. JS Beautify. Does JS Beautify do HTML? JS Beautify does do HTML. So I'm wondering, what is this Prettify HTML? Was this something different? Is this some... 897 downloads. Oh, but when I'm done with the stream, I'm going off to have dinner. So I probably won't have time for much after I quit. This is the end of the day for me. So when I sign off here, I'm probably signing off and having a drink. You can try to drop me some messages if you want. This is kind of an arbitrary way to pick an NPM package. I'm just looking at weekly downloads for a popularity contest. Mostly just because that is sometimes, usually, a proxy for something that's decently maintained. Let's try this real quick. JS Beautify. And actually, if you, well, you probably want to chat about stuff, but if you want to drop me an email or something too, you can email me at me@lmorchard.com. If you ever want to drop me an email, you can do that. But chat-wise, I may be signing off for a while. Yeah, let's do this. Stuck on the user guide for creating advanced sprite graphics. I have done that, but I want to say the last time I did it was when I was a kid. If it's terrible, then at least I'm not the only idiot using it. Exactly. I feel like it's a trap to assume that there's an objectively best library for everything, or an objectively best tool. Sometimes, because at the end of the day, we're all just making this shit up. And sometimes, if you pick the one that has the most fools in it, you might have the best chance of someone fixing things when they're broken. Even if it's not the greatest solution for things. What's I going to do? I was going to open a new terminal. Yeah. That said, some popular things are terrible. It's a weird conundrum. In some ways, JavaScript is objectively terrible by certain measures, but a lot of people are using it, so you're in good company, I guess. That's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do... React. React is, yeah. React and Redux is better than Backbone and jQuery, I would say, though. Which is what I've used before. One of the things I've used before. But then again, pick your tool for the task, because sometimes a good... just using some jQuery could be good. For some projects, for some quick projects. So I installed it. I'm guessing this is what we do. I'm so distracted right now. I'm probably using a spare sliver of my brain to try to work through this issue. Yeah, so what I want to do... I think... No... I also really want to play International Karate now. Which I may do tonight. Who knows? Beautify! I think this is how this is used. What are the defaults of this? Ah. So I can supply some options. Does this just do JavaScript? I thought it did HTML also. Ba, 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 ba. You know, why don't we do an indent just to supply some options? And I don't even know if this code I'm writing is going to run, because I haven't checked my build lately. We want indent size to, let's say 1, just to make a small sample. I don't like that. Let's make it 2. Okay. Did I break anything? It's building. Okay. I don't think that actually formatted anything, did it? Okay. Well, I didn't read the docs. I didn't read the docs. I'm just kind of stumbling through this. I may need to restart my build process and not just reload. Okay. Let's do this. No, 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 no. I keep thinking this is Vim. This is not, in fact, Vim. Oh, I remembered a keyboard shortcut. Okay, let's restart the server. It'd be nice if this worked. Building, building, building. Going for some cheap wins here. If I can glue a bunch of junk together. If I can kit bash. If I can kit bash my project together. Ah, it's not doing the thing. What am I doing wrong? Because I thought this thing would just format my code. Because I'm trying to do... formatted. I'm trying to do it with HTML. Yeah, my energy's flagging here. I was hoping to get one more good thing done here. I'm wondering if the HTML's eating it up. Because I'm not seeing any carriage returns in the supposedly prettified. Oh. Not seeing anything? Formatted is not. There it goes. Eh, what the heck? It's going through a JS Beautify. It's at least doing that, but it's not actually, like, beautifying. Do I need to tell it? Dear Beautify, please insert carriage returns? Do I have to tell it that? The docs see there's a default indent of 2 here. But it doesn't seem to be doing the thing that I want. Yeah, maybe it's not doing what I expect. Boom, boom, boom. I think I'm doing the right thing. Let's give it a that. I just wanted to take this HTML and give it some decent looking line breaks. But it doesn't seem to want to do the thing. Alright. Well, this is kind of turning into extra credit at this point. Been 2 hours and 2.5 hours. I think I'm at the end of my rope here for a minute, for a while. I'm gonna call it. It's been a while since I streamed last. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to trying my old schedule where I was trying to do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I may just try to commit again to Wednesday, i.e. today, next week, so as not to burn myself out on material or whatever. But who knows, maybe I'll jump back in for another, like, tinkering stream before then. But I wanted to come back. I wanted to get this thing going again. Thank you, everyone who's come by and watched me bungle through this stuff. Hopefully it was entertaining for the chiptunes at least. Hopefully I'll see you next time. See you, Ootsby. See you, Slayer. See you, everybody. Haven't said see you too. Cheers.